working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. We begin with an issue we continue to follow closely for you here at KGET TV 17, local homelessness. Supervisors are considering approving the location for the future site of a low-barrier shelter. The exact address is 2731 O Street, just north of Golden State Avenue. Right now, the site is a county-owned building. The shelter would be considered a navigation center that includes wraparound services, including behavioral health, drug addiction services, and veterans services. The property is expected to accommodate between 100 and 200 people. Supporters of the plan say a low-barrier shelter would attract homeless who may not consider traditional homeless shelters because low-barrier shelters have fewer requirements. Unlike more traditional homeless shelters, low-barrier shelters allow partners to stay together and pets to be permitted. Additionally, storage for possessions would be made available. If supervisors approve this plan, county officials hope to have the shelter up and running by the end of this year. As it relates to your tax dollars, we're told it will cost just under $1 million to start up the shelter. Estimated annual costs to run the shelter remain unclear. We'll let you know if supervisors approve the plan. Right now, they are doing public comment. 17's Aton Wallace is inside the meeting, waiting for that vote. Still listening to all of that public comment, and as soon as we get word on that vote, we will let you know, and we'll also have reaction either way from county leaders ahead on 17 News at 5. An argument between a brother and sister turned deadly in Tehachapi. Family members say 36-year-old Joey Armstrong stabbed his 37-year-old sister Gina during a fight at a home on Green Street Monday. Joey Armstrong was arrested on suspicion of murder and other charges. He's being hailed without bail. We're learning new information about a shooting in a Southwest Bakersfield neighborhood. Police have arrested 2 more people in connection with the shooting last month. Officers arrested Antoine Jin Sunday and Jervern Weldon August 31st. The shooting happened August 17th on Remington Avenue in the Quailwood neighborhood. Police say a car drove by a house where a party was happening, and people inside the vehicle opened fire. Several people at the party fired back. Police found 60 spent casings from the shooting, but no one was hurt. Police have now arrested 11 people in connection with that incident. In a time where children are faced with traumas and burdens, the Delano Union School District is taking steps to look for warning signs that could lead to tragedies like child suicide or attempts to hurt others. As 17's Vanessa Dillon reports, it all starts with a student speaking up, saying something, and a quick and easy download of a phone app.
Students, really all students all over the country, are experiencing significant trauma in their lives.
It's a time where parents should be on high alert. As generations shift, kids are faced with personal struggles that could often lead to tragedies.
You hear a report of a shooting or a threat against a school, there's always precursor signs. These things almost never come just right out of the blue. There were things going on that, people were aware of, but maybe didn't choose to report it.
It's a harsh reality, but a fact both parents and educators have learned to accept. In a world where events like the Sandy Hook and Parkland shootings broke the country, the Delano Union School District is adopting a technological system that aims to catch warning signs before it's too late.
It's an anonymous reporting system that students can use to contact the school about issues that are of concern to them.
Issues can range from concerns of suicide to fears of more prominent dangers.
Schools are about taking care of kids. That's what we do. And the kids know things and are experiencing things that the school may not be aware of. And they may be reluctant to come forward.
The Say Something app is an initiative founded by the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation, a nonprofit inspired by the tragic elementary school shootings in 2012. And the goal is to make it as safe and easy as possible for students to report their concerns anonymously.
When a shooting occurs, people look back and there were all these precursor signs that either people didn't pick up on or they didn't connect the dots, or people didn't come forward with information that they had. An anonymous reporting system gives people the opportunity to just report something that's troubling to them, even if they're not sure what it means.
The app is easy to use, and students across the Delano Union School District have already been trained and encouraged to use it. And in this digital time and age, the system can make all the difference in a student's life.
Kids are so technologically savvy these days. The idea of downloading an app and making an anonymous report, that's second nature for them.
That was 17's Vanessa Dillon reporting. The school district adopted the Say Something system in April, and you can find more information on the app by visiting the Sandy Hook Promise Foundation website. That's saysomething.net. Almost a year later, 3 more people who perished in the deadliest wildfire in state history have been identified. The Camp Fire swept through Butte County last November, killing 86 people and destroying 14,000 homes, most of them in the town of Paradise. Yesterday, the Butte County Sheriff's Office identified 3 more people whose remains were found after the fire. All 3 were found from the town of Paradise. The largest wildfire in the state right now continues to grow. The so-called Walker Fire is burning in the Plumas National Forest, about 2 hours east of Chico. The fire sparked Wednesday, and it's already burned some 44,000 acres. Right now, the fire's only 10% contained. Firefighters say erratic winds are making conditions difficult for the more than 800 crews on the front line. Meantime, local crews are helping on the front lines as firefighters work to battle another growing brush fire in Northern California. CAL FIRE says lightning most likely sparked the so-called Red Bank fire Thursday west of the city of Red Bluff in Tehama County. Flames have now burned close to 9,000 acres. That fire is now 55% contained. Tomorrow marks 18 years since a tragic day in American history. Nearly 3,000 people were killed when terrorists hijacked 4 planes and carried out suicide attacks in New York, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. In remembrance of that fateful day, numerous events are happening around town to honor those killed, including hundreds of first responders who died in the line of duty. This morning at back-to-back sports in Central Bakersfield, Bakersfield Fire Captain Chris Campbell paid tribute to those who lost their lives during 9/11. Captain Campbell dressed in his fire gear to climb 110 stories, a symbolic gesture to honor the firefighters who rushed into the World Trade Center on that day to help. 343 firefighters died in the terrorist attack. More than 200 firefighters have died since.
Anytime that we can pay respects and really basically check in with each other that, hey, this is what we're committed to. We're part of something that's very special.
Hundreds of firefighters across the country, we should say, participate in 9/11 memorial stair climbs every year to honor and remember the New York firefighters who selflessly gave their lives so others might live. Tomorrow morning, the Bakersfield Fire Department is holding its annual 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony outside Fire Station 15 in Southwest Bakersfield. A 9/11 memorial was installed next to the fire station 3 years ago. The monument was erected from a steel girder from one of the Twin Towers in New York. The ceremony begins at 8:30. Station 15 is on Buena Vista Road, just off Ming Avenue. It's a wish for our warriors. Strata Credit Union honoring our heroes during a touching ceremony near the Portrait of a Warrior Gallery.
With a prayer this morning.
The gallery celebrated its 1-year anniversary this morning with an emotional ceremony in downtown Bakersfield. The gallery honors veterans in Kern County who've made the ultimate sacrifice. This morning's ceremony, a tribute to soldiers who have fought and died since the September 11th attacks.
Today we dedicated 2 portraits to family members, and Saturday we'll be dedicating 3 more. And today, on our 1st anniversary, we did a fallen hero roll call that we plan to do every single year, where we do the roll call for each and every fallen hero on these walls.
Strata Credit Union added to the ceremony by providing funding to expand the World War I and Korean War exhibits at the museum. Strata is set to grant 70 wishes this year as the credit union celebrates 70 years of business in Kern County. Tomorrow, we're firing up the grills for our annual barbecue to raise money for the Wounded Heroes Fund. The organization relies on grants and donations from the community to help post-9/11 veterans transition back to civilian life. But over the years, they've added other programs to help any veterans hurt in the line of duty. So from 10:30 to 2 tomorrow, we hope you'll come out and help us raise money to support veterans here in Kern County. It's happening right outside of our studios at the corner of 22nd and L Streets. $10 gets you a tri-tip sandwich, chips, cookie, and a drink. We hope to see you out here. Still ahead here on 17 News at noon, Google under fire, why the tech giant is under investigation, and what attorney generals across the country are saying about it. Plus, smoking versus vaping. Hear one man's experience with both and how vaping nearly claimed his life. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. We're back now in your 17 Health Watch. A smoker turned to vaping because he thought it was safer than smoking, but now he says it nearly killed him. Justin Wilson was recently released from the hospital after he passed out while having dinner with friends. Justin's family says doctors said he had something called vaping toxicity. He says the coils in his vaping device were not heating the chemicals quickly enough, so he was inhaling the liquid straight into his lungs. It's not clear whether this so-called vaping toxicity is at all related to the hundreds of vaping illnesses popping up around the country. But to Justin and his family, the message is clear. Vaping nearly killed him.
The first hospital that he went to, they asked me if I wanted a chaplain. And that's when my heart sank. I don't think I believe it is safer anymore. I did.
Now he's at home recovering and says he feels good, but he says his doctors don't know whether or not he'll make a full recovery. There's new evidence that taking a nap once or twice a week might go far beyond just restoring your energy. NBC's Ann Thompson explains it might be a lifesaver.
To sleep, perchance to dream, for your health. Napping once or twice a week may cut your risk of a heart attack or stroke nearly in half, says new research reported today in the online journal Heart. At Ariana Huffington's startup Thrive Global, aimed at reducing stress and burnout. She's created a Zen environment to promote daytime Z's.
Getting even a 20-minute nap is game-changing. It improves your alertness, it improves your decision-making, and it also improves your health.
But doesn't it go against the idea of productivity in the workplace?
On the contrary, in fact, if you get a 20-minute nap when you're sleep-deprived, you're going to be infinitely more productive.
The study says people benefited regardless of the length of the nap, whether 5 minutes or more than an hour. There were no benefits for those who nap more than 3 times a week. Huffington's top tip?
Picking a time at the end of the day when you turn off your phones and charge them outside your bedroom.
Turning off the world to recharge, even for a few minutes. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
I'm a big believer in the power of a nap as well. All right, let's check out the forecast now. And a beautiful day outside in the 70s right now. Check that out at noontime, 73 here in the valley. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Here's Kevin with your forecast.
Well, take a look at the almanac, and overnight 59 degrees. This time of year, the normal overnight temperature 65, normal high 92. We're not going to reach that. And 107 on this date, set back in 1944, was the record. If you're going to be out and about, sunset tonight at 7:11. Skies remain clear. No changes on that front around the state. We're just getting the cooler air with a series of troughs out of the north. And look at the numbers today around the state. 81 in Sacramento, Fresno 83. We're looking at great temperatures down in Los Angeles, San Diego as well. Even Vegas getting a break from the triple digits, 94, 96 today out of Phoenix. And here's the trough that's going to push on through now. We get a little bit of ridging building back in for the weekend. We're going to see those triple digits probably return, but it will be short-lived. As we head into next week, a deeper trough develops out of the north, bringing more cooler weather into California. So those 80s are going to come back. So just the weekend we got to deal with. National weather, taking a look at the thunderstorm potential for today through parts of Wyoming into South Dakota. Most of the country has a slight risk of seeing those storms develop. Temperatures, though, out to the west, perfect. 68 in Seattle, 73 in Boise, 68 in Billings. We do find the heat as we travel to the east, and you can see from Omaha through Nashville, Atlanta, we're looking at 80s and 90s all around today. Even New Orleans, right near 93. Here at home, air quality for you today, moderate with an AQI at 51, and I think you're going to like the numbers. Bakersfield should be right near 82. 81 in Delano, McFarland. 83 in Buttonwillow with a light northwest wind 5 to 10. For the mountains and the Kern River Valley, 68. Frazier Park, 71 in Tehachapi. Near 80 for the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabel at 77. 79 in Kernville with a west wind 15 to 20. So a little bit of a breeze throughout the afternoon. And into the desert, we could see winds gusting around 35 to 40. 82 in Mojave. Your extended forecast, 85 tomorrow. And then, I talked about the heat coming back into play Thursday through about Sunday with those 90s and, yes, a few triple digits, and then 88 by Monday. Mountain forecast looking great through tomorrow, and then a little warmer for the weekend with those 80s. Next Monday, we're back right near 76. And the Kern River Valley forecast, we're looking at those 90s, mid-90s by Friday and Saturday, and then 80s and a little bit of a breeze picking up by Monday. That's a look at your forecast. We'll send it back over to you.
Well, still ahead this afternoon at noon, your 17 Business Watch. Apple is set to make a big announcement today. What experts expect to see as Apple upgrades and releases new products at its annual event. Attorney generals are taking aim at Google, why its popular search engine is under fire. Your 17 Business Watch is after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
We're back in your 17 Business Watch this Tuesday afternoon. The Dow is down about 33 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq down 44 and the S&P 500 down 12. Checking oil prices while we're at it. West Texas Intermediate also falling today. It is $57.35 a barrel this afternoon, and Midway Sunset started the day at $60.10 a barrel. Los Angeles Department of Water and Power is considering a giant solar project in Kern County that could mean the lowest price ever paid for solar power in the country. The LA Times reports the so-called Eland contract with developer 8 Minute Solar Energy would be built in the Mojave Desert. But the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 18, which represents utility employees, has some concerns about gas plants on the coast being closed and then who would be hired to build the Eland project. The company says it plans to sign a labor agreement with IBEW Local 428 in Kern County. Construction has to start by December to qualify for a federal tax credit. The LA DWP board will consider sending the contract on to the LA City Council today. It's a big day in the tech world. Apple's expected to unveil several new products at its annual event. The tech giant's expected to reveal its latest upgrades to its iPhone line. Tech experts are also predicting Apple may reveal an updated Apple Watch and some new TV-related services. For the first time, Apple will stream the unveiling on YouTube. In the past, the company's only streamed the launch on its own website. The event kicks off at Apple headquarters in Cupertino. Target lovers will love this. The retailer's launching a loyalty program. Target Circle is set to roll out nationwide October 6th. It will offer new perks like birthday rewards and personalized coupons. Target started testing the program in February, and it's been successful. Target says customers enrolled in the program are spending more than those who are not. The program's free, and it doesn't require customers to have a Target credit card. Google's under fire. Yesterday, attorneys generals from across the country announced the tech giant is under investigation. Regulators and lawmakers have grown more concerned with the company's search engine and its share of the internet advertising market. NBC's Dan Sheneman reports.
Google, the tech giant, now at Target.
There's nothing wrong with being the dominant player if it's done fairly.
A bipartisan group of attorneys general from 50 states and territories announcing a probe into what they call the company's potential monopolistic behavior.
We're focusing on the digital advertising space, right? Because there's basically a virtual commodity exchange that Google is controlling from start to finish.
Critics of the company say its search engine may limit consumer choice.
And this is a company that dominates all aspects of advertising on the internet and searching on the internet.
Google has not commented on the investigation, but the company has generally maintained that its businesses, while huge, are useful and beneficial to consumers.
There's a fine line sometimes between aggressive business practices and illegal ones. Our investigation will determine whether Google has crossed that line.
It's an investigation that could determine the future of a high-tech Goliath. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Google's not the first tech company to face scrutiny. Last week, another group of states announced a probe into Facebook's market dominance. Still ahead at noon, a 77-year-old woman sails into history. How she navigated her way across the seas and into the record book. Plus, Raphael Seth has your video view. Entertainment news is next. Welcome back. Entertainment news now. And Keanu Reeves is no stranger to blockbuster film franchises. 3 decades after the last one, Reeves has signed on to do a new Bill and Ted movie. Same goes for another Matrix film scheduled for release in 2022. Then there's his current series, John Wick. Rumors of a 4th film in the works. But for now, we'll have to enjoy the home version of the 3rd chapter called Parabellum. Raphael Seth has more in this week's video view.
You have no idea what's coming.
Keanu Reeves enters a murder matrix reloaded in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Reeves returns as the title character, a hitman on the run after killing a member of the Assassin's Guild, and now his former co-workers are hunting the fired fugitive using an arsenal of weapons while Reeves scraps for anything he can get his hands on. John Wick Chapter 3 is available on digital, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K.
You know they say that cat Shaft is a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
Samuel L. Jackson revives a classic in... This third-generation remake features the Avengers legend as New York's toughest private eye. This time he's helping his straight-laced son navigate the rough-and-tumble underworld to solve a murder, and they get a little more firepower with help from franchise OG Richard Roundtree. Shaft is digital this week.
So what are you thinking? I'm thinking zombies.
It's Diagnosis Murder for Bill Murray in The Dead Don't Die. Officer Murray teams up with Adam Driver and the rest of the Jim Jarmusch All-Stars in this zom-com. When animals start behaving erratically in the town of Centerville, it's only a matter of time before the deceased begin digging their way out of the cemetery to feast on living flesh. The Dead Don't Die is on digital, DVD, and Blu-ray. That's the Video View. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
When we come back here on 17 News at noon, how a 77-year-old woman set sail for her latest adventure and navigated her way into history. Welcome back. Finally here at noon, a 77-year-old British woman has sailed into the history books. According to Canadian media, Jan Socrates, who left Canada last October, has become the oldest person ever to set sail around the world solo, nonstop and unassisted after spending more than 330 days alone at sea. Hundreds of well-wishers gathered at a harbor in Victoria over the weekend to welcome her back.
This as one of the greatest voyages of all times. A 77-year-old woman who's battled unbelievable hardships on this trip.
Canadian media said Socrates has made several tries since 2016 to become the oldest person to navigate the globe alone, but abandoned each try because of rough seas, boat damage, or personal injury. Pretty amazing and inspiring. All right, thanks for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back tonight on 17 News at 5 and 6. Have a great day.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.